Hey ladies, so I found this article I found really interesting. It's called Male Friendships Are Not Doing the Job. It's from March of this year and it's on ifstudies.org, Institute for Family Studies. So this article was written by a man. His name is Daniel Cox. It reads, in a video posted on social media, a distraught young woman recounts receiving this message moments before her date arrived to pick her up. All right, you shallow bitch, don't judge my car. Confused and alarmed, the young woman expressed her discomfort, at which point her would-be date grew defensive. He eventually texted an apology, but it was too little too late. These dating disasters seem to disproportionately involve men making cringy, inappropriate, or offensive comments. I don't think most men are purposely trying to sabotage their romantic opportunities. Rather, compared to women, men often have far less experience communicating openly about their feelings, expectations, and needs. Many women develop these skills through their friends. Men don't, and that's a critical deficit. The late author, Jeffrey Zaslow, writing in the Wall Street Journal about his own friendship experience, argued that male friendships are just different. Men spend their time doing things, not discussing them. Personal sharing and messy feelings are mostly absent, he writes. I've played poker with the same guys every Thursday night for 18 years. We rarely talk about our lives. We talk about cards, betting, bluffing. I used to say that my poker buddies don't even know my kids' names, but then I wondered if I was exaggerating. So one night I turned to my left at the poker table and casually asked my friend Lance, "Hey Lance, could you name my children?" He couldn't. I think a lot of men can relate. I certainly could. Friendships are the first relationships we develop outside of our family. They are incredibly important developmentally and offer early lessons in empathy, compassion, and reciprocity. Friendships can teach us healthy ways to manage disagreements, resolve conflict, show affection, and practice intimacy. But men and women approach friendship quite differently. Ignoring problems, minimizing feelings, taunting, and teasing are not effective ways to communicate with your partner or spouse. But it's how a lot of men learn to communicate with each other. So, of course, this information doesn't surprise women at all. We've been desperately trying to tell men that they're lacking emotional intelligence, self-reflection, and depth. One of the reasons why women are so unhappy in relationships with men, it's because women know what a loving friend looks like, because we get that from our female counterparts. So for women, we constantly see the men in our lives not offer the same support that we know that we can get from other people in our lives. That's why so many women are emotionally unsupported and unhappy in their relationships with men. But then on the other hand, men can be in good relationships, bad relationships, and for some reason they just stick around and hang out. In a lot of cases, they don't have the same amount of emotional support that the woman in their life gives to them. So they don't have that the grass is greener attitude when it comes to their relationship. Commonly, men will get the grass is greener effect when it comes to sex and physical attraction, but women tend to have that grass is greener effect when it comes to emotional connections. Here is a chart explaining the difference in how much men and women receive emotional support from their friends. It says percentage of Americans who report the following experiences in the past week. So men are blue and women are pink. The first set says received emotional support from a friend. So women scored at a 41 and men scored at a 21. The next one says told a friend you loved them. Women scored at a 49 and men scored at a 25. The third one says shared personal feelings or problems with a friend. Women scored at 48 and men scored at 30. This is probably one of the reasons why men tend to dump a lot of their emotional problems on women instead, because their male counterparts are not really giving them the support that they need when they come to them with problems. It is often noted that female friendships are more fraught than male friendships, but the friction in female friendship is more likely a reflection of the greater emotional investment women make in them. A 2021 survey we conducted found that women talk with their friends more often than men, they express their feelings more openly and often with their friends, share personal challenges and troubles, and seek out support and validation. We should recognize the real value that male friendships offer while acknowledging their limitations as well. Activity-based friendships endure only so long as the activity does. As priorities change and people move away, it becomes more difficult to sustain these relationships. In an interview with Quartz, New York Times columnist Ezra Klein explains, "There's a lot more discomfort, particularly among young men, with friendships that are rooted in talking about what's going on in your life and talking about how you're feeling. But if your friendship is based on activities, on hanging out, playing video games, doing sports, or whatever manly things we're supposed to be doing, then as your life changes, as you move away, have children, or you get married, or you have a job, then how do you keep those friendships up? Because the material that they were based on is no longer there. And so the friendships fall away." This makes a lot of sense when you see men who kind of have this like crisis after they get married and now they feel stuck with a woman and children and, they miss their playtime with the homies. It seems like it's because they didn't have real true friendships to begin with, because if you have a true friend, there shouldn't be a reason why it drops off just because you get married and you have kids. Now, do you see your friends less often in person? Absolutely. I have plenty of female friends that I used to hang out with more, but now that they have kids and everything like that, they're busy, so I don't see them as often. And I'm not the type of person that chases, because I can still feel close to somebody without seeing them in person, as long as we're keeping up, over the phone or through text or through social media. But what this article is saying is a lot of men don't actually talk to each other intimately. They just like having fun with their buddy, so they call them to do activities versus actually call them to discuss life and things like that. So that's why a lot of these men are losing their friends after they have kids, because if they can't come out and party or hang out or do these activities, a lot of the men are just no longer interested in their company. It's not difficult to see how friendships built almost entirely on shared activities and interests do not prepare men for dating. When you're getting to know someone for the first time, being curious, asking questions, listening, and being empathetic become especially important. So many of the dating disasters you read about feature some deficiency in these critical skills. It's not that men do not need or want to talk about their personal triumphs, commiserate about their disappointments, or share their insecurities. Rather, men more often feel that they cannot rely on their male friends for it, Zaslow writes. Research shows that men often open up about emotional issues to wives, mothers, sisters, and platonic female friends. That's partly because they assume male friends will be of little help. It may also be due to fears of seeming effeminate or gay, but it's also an indication that men compartmentalize their needs. They'd rather turn to male friends to momentarily escape from their problems. And so it falls to women. Many heterosexual men seek out these experiences exclusively from the women in their life, whether it's a partner or a platonic friend. Thus, men's emotional development becomes an unwelcome burden that women are increasingly refusing to take on.
What's your favorite thing to do in bed?
Probably trauma dump afterwards.
Yeah, I hear that one.
What's one of your icks when it comes to guys?
Well, one of them is when a guy trauma dumps on you for 2 hours.
Trauma dump? What the hell does that mean?
It's when a guy tells you all of his problems and all of his trauma from the past, 15 years.
So a guy should never really open up to you?
Not in the first, 2 weeks.
I gotta call my friend. We have an ick list. There's 100 icks on it.
Are you serious?
Yes. Because
mommy issues. Just any bad relationship with their mom.
What if he doesn't have a mom?
That's even worse.
Oh, yeah. Lord have mercy. I need to take a seat after that one.
Societal expectations for men are changing rapidly. We expect more from men as husbands, partners, and fathers than we once did. Men are meant to be attentive fathers and emotionally engaged spouses. Maybe it's time for men to expect more from their friendships as well. So, of course, this is something that we probably all knew. One of the reasons why I wanted to make this channel is because I want women to start confirming things that we've all thought and we've all seen, but we've been brainwashed into making excuses for the way men behave. These articles show us that men are emotionally subpar to us. So we do need to take that information and then do what you will with it. I personally don't have the time or the energy to sift through men and find out which ones are emotionally intelligent, which ones aren't. I'm not going to do it. But if women want to continue to date men, this is just something you need to understand. when all of these women have the same complaints about all these men, we just need to understand that that's how they are. That is how they are socialized. Leave your comments on your experiences with this. I would love to know how many women feel like the men in their lives have done the work and are emotionally intelligent. Like and subscribe and turn on all notifications, and more content coming soon.